Welcome to episode 198 of the Baseball Brew Crew Podcast. We are keeping baseball history alive, one craft beer at a time, wherever you are watching or listening to us. Please give us a like and a follow. And if you love beer with your baseball, please tell a friend. Let's do it. Here's a lineup card for today. Hitting first is the newest acquisition at the Baseball Brew Crew. He is the first international signing. He is the big hurt, Allan Jepsen. No hat. You do not want to get hat hair, but you don't want to get gel hair, right?
Don't want to get gel hat.
Gel hat. There we go. Yeah, started a new job, right?
Yeah, started a new job today, so had to do the hair on the first day, but that stops tomorrow, and I wear a hat again.
Oh, I can't wait. How many new hats do you have that are still waiting to be debuted here?
Well, I mean, we just got a new couch this past weekend, and the bins moved in this room here, and there's two very, very full bins with a lot that haven't been worn on this show yet. So.
Nice. I think I have a couple too, so I'm looking forward to debuting those. All right. Batting second is the field correspondent and senior research analyst at the Baseball Brew Crew, Kevin Lyon. Home?
Yes, sir.
There's no place like home, right?
Well, I'm not home. I just was at home. I went to Radiant after I got here.
You've been at Radiant this whole time?
Yeah, of course. Where else would I have been for the last 2.5 weeks?
Well, we will definitely recap your last 2.5 weeks at Radiant.
Another time.
Yes, we'll do that another time. Well, we have
let me talk about where I just was before we start recording. A little shortly.
Okay. Yes, for sure. Cowboy Jack Durango would be hitting the 3-hole right here, but he is actually on vacation. Our Goodwill ambassador and Sultan of Swig. He will be back next week with some more teams for his promos. We always look forward to those. But as always, we bring a new and unique craft beer to review and enjoy. So what craft beer are you drinking out there? Let us know in the chat. I'm going to start with Allan. What are you drinking tonight?
Today, I am drinking Steel and Oak from New Westminster, their New Zealand Pilsner. It's their anniversary Pilsner. They celebrated their 11th year anniversary yesterday, which is pretty fantastic. This is a hybrid of old and new with traditional German Pilsner malt, combined with New Zealand hops, subtle honey flavors, supported by notes of stone fruit, straw, citrus zest, and hop additions. I don't know what those additions are, but it was pretty good. They have a big party every year for their anniversary, and it's the 4th year we've gone, and they usually bust out a new beer too, which is fantastic.
Can you tell the difference between American and Canadian beers?
If we're talking like commercial beers, yes.
Okay.
Very much so. I feel like the American ones fill me up more and bloat me pretty heavy. Whereas I don't know, I just find the Canadian ones a little easier to drink.
Okay. And then the craft beer is the same deal, or is it are they pretty comparable?
Craft beers are pretty comparable across the board. There are a few that obviously the same sort of thing, but for the most part, they're pretty level across the board.
Yeah, I can agree with him. From my time at Vancouver breweries, went to I think 10 of them in like 3-4 days. Yeah, very very similar. Just great beer all around. Vancouver's a great beer.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Have you been to this one, Kevin, or no?
No, that's one we didn't get to. We didn't get to New Westminster, did we, Allan? I don't think so.
No, because we met you in Vancouver. So
yes. How far is that from Vancouver?
It is. Well, it's like a 5-minute drive from me here, and it's like a 5 and down the hill from Daniel Makabe. Yeah. But it's about 25 minutes maybe from Vancouver.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, if it has New Zealand hops in it, I am definitely in a very popular hop right now. So,
it seems to be. You're starting to see it pop up a little bit more over the Italian was a couple years ago. You saw a lot of that, and then just the classic Pilsner.
Yeah.
So, hey, I welcome the change.
Absolutely. Kevin.
Yes, sir.
You were at Radiant for quite a while, and shockingly, you have another Radiant beer. Wow.
How shocking. I don't know why. I felt like I came out of a coma, and I'm like, well, what's the first thing I'm going to do? I'm like, well, Radiant's at 4:00. It's 6:00 Pacific when we're recording. Yeah. What's your Radiant? And this one's so new, it's not even on draft anymore. I'm like, oh, I was going to try it. So couldn't do that head. So got in a can, and this is a really nice. It's got a hazy double IPA with Mosaic, Eldorado, and Cashmere hops coming in at 8%. So one of these might be a good night beer for me after waking up from being comatose for 2.5 weeks. I had some really weird dreams. We may have to talk about that next week.
Yes, you were. In fact, you were texting and sending pictures. You were hallucinating big time. So it's like,
wow.
I was going to say you were butt dialing me, but you were actually like dream texting me.
I blame Cowboy Jack. I'm sure Cowboy Jack did something to my body to cause these hallucinations.
Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and this beer looks delicious. I mean,
you would really enjoy this one for sure. At 8%. I said I have a second one over here, but I know you're not going to get to that second one. Even though on the untapped description at the bottom it says you need another.
Oh, well,
it's speaking to me. It's speaking to me.
All right. Very good. Very good. So my beer tonight is actually a brewery that I was actually trying to get to, and it was closed about an hour before I got there. So I wasn't able to make it. But Kevin, yes, wah, indeed. But you actually, I think you've been to this brewery. It is Pedal House.
Yes, I have.
So this is the White Rabbit Hazy IPA from Pedal House Brewery out of Tempe, Arizona. 6.5 ABV, 35 IBU. Hazy IPA brewed with Mosaic, Amarillo, Cascade, and other juicy hop varieties. And it is excellent. And I believe that Pedal House was in the Sky Harbor Airport as well. There was a little section.
So were you trying to go to the location in downtown Tempe?
Actually, not in downtown Tempe, but downtown Phoenix. It's right across the street from Arizona Wilderness.
Okay, because I remember going to one in the Tempe-ish area.
Okay. Yeah. So
that might be the same location. I just mixed up. And I had to look. I'm like, darn, I did not have this beer, unfortunately.
Yes. It is excellent. I think that you would really enjoy it. And again, all the hazy IPAs I've had are tremendous. So I'm in a hazy phase. And
as a gentleman who once, are you ready for this, Michael Mondragon? I dressed up as a white rabbit for a Jepsen Starship show. So I wish I could have that costume so I could drink that white rabbit beer in that costume.
Nice. Yes, I believe that you were in the music video, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it was just a concert. It was a concert, and the singer started. It was just a concert, and the singer started. Whoever's singing now for Jepsen Starship a decade ago was starting to hit me in the head with a microphone. So she did not feel too pleased about a person dressed as a white rabbit for the song "White Rabbit" by Jepsen Starship / Airplane / not Starship.
Wait, you're telling me that Grace Slick hit you in the head with a microphone?
No, it was not Grace Slick. Come on, I wish that'd be a better story. But it was the original guitar player from Jepsen Airplane, but they had a new singer for this version of Jepsen Starship.
Was it Mickey? Oh gosh, what's his name? He was the one with the
it's a female singer, but I can't remember the name of the original
female singer. Got it.
Yeah, but the original guitar player was still with them, and he passed away, I think, 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay. Allan, do you know anything what we're talking about?
No.
Okay. Have you ever seen the film? No. I was going to ask about Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, because White Rabbit is the song with the
Yes. It's a very famous song from the 60s. So called White Rabbit, but it's not worth noting here on a baseball and craft beer show.
It's a white out here. I'm just stretching it. I'm stretching it out here.
Yes. Exactly.
I'm just happy I woke up and it's still 2025. All right. Actually, I don't know about happy 2025, but
yeah, for real. Well, guys, I'm gonna call an audible for the show tonight. I'm actually gonna change directions, change lanes slightly. We usually talk about old baseball, pop culture. Well, I actually decided that we're going to talk about modern baseball. And who better to ask about modern baseball than ChatGPT?
Oh, no.
Yes. So whenever I use ChatGPT, I always address it. I say, "Hi, ChatGPT." And I asked it this very important question for tonight's discussion. Yes, Kevin.
Isn't this also Cowboy Jack's graphic designer?
It is not because everything is spelled correctly and it is not AI generated. This is actually a real picture.
Okay. All right. I thought it was a fair question.
Yes.
I was about to ask that question to ChatGPT.
Yes.
So.
Jax is the free version.
How can you tell that? I mean, yes, it is. So I asked ChatGPT this important question. What are the current top 20 Major League Baseball issues? And it gave me quite a variety. Do you want to speculate what some of the things that we're going to be talking about?
Speed of play.
Oh, speed of play is a good one. Kevin, do you have any?
The Devers trade, if we're talking recent.
Yeah, that could be in there too. I think that's pretty good. Let's see if they're in there. So the very first thing that I came up with is some on-field and gameplay issues. The shrinking strike zone and umpire inconsistency. Umpires are calling fewer strikes than before, shrinking the zone and fueling calls for improved enforcement. Do you believe in your vast baseball watching that this is true? Allan?
I mean, with umpires like CB Buckner, and the strike zone is getting pretty terrible. So, I mean, umpiring consistency is very, very a very important thing right now.
And Allan, if I could go further, remember we saw the replay being used in AAA last season.
Yes, we did.
And it was very effective. Like you got to use it a couple times a game, and we did see pitches that were overturned by them contesting it. So, let the robots take over.
Well, it was good to see. At the same time, it does add more time, which people argue the length of play in that sense, and so it's just gonna. I mean, as a purist, I don't care how long the game goes. It can be 7 hours, and I'd be fine. But the reason they're speeding up the game, those are the people that are going to get pretty upset about, adding things on.
But NFL games go 3 hours. Starts at 10, ends at 1. No one has a problem with that, But baseball is 3 hours. They can play, and
they pregame.
Yeah. They pregame for 3 hours, then watch the game for 3 hours. Then postgame, depending on how your game goes, for another 3 hours.
Yeah. Or if you like my friend Vince, he if the Cardinals are losing in the first half, he leaves.
There you go. Yeah.
Beats the traffic. But the thing that I think about is, I've been watching baseball for, since the 70s. The strike zone has always been an issue. And actually back then they didn't have the outline of it on TV. I feel like that has changed the perspective of things because you can see now where it actually does miss by the television graphics. I also feel like social media, like the fact that we know CB Buckner, the fact that we know Laz Diaz, the fact that we know, of course, Angel Hernandez, right?
Wow. Well, so, someone watched baseball since the 1870s. I completely agree with you, sir.
So, there's umpires in the Hall of Fame as well. Yeah. So, where are these Hall of Fame umpires? Joe West is going to be probably a Hall of Famer, the Cowboy, but he wasn't a very. Let me back up. He wasn't favored among the players. They didn't think he was the best either.
Right.
Okay. There was a guy named Eric Gregg who was, remember him? He was always, they make fun of him because of his weight. And, another one that I have his book, Ron Luciano.
Thank you. I was trying to remember his name right now. I was like, who's that guy?
Yeah, very colorful umpire, but not known as the best.
When you talk about weight, there was that umpire who dropped dead of a heart attack at the beginning of a Reds game, and Art Schott just said, "Get him off the field. Let's get going with the game." It's like,
his last name was Sherry.
Yeah, I believe you're right. I can't.
Remember. Yeah, and right, and that was a whole thing too. So I feel like a lot of these issues. Also, let me put my stamp on this one. I'm actually. As much as I want the right call, I actually like the fact that there is kind of like a third team of humans that judge it, because I think that's one of the great nuances of baseball.
Yeah.
Like, because it's like that human element of calling someone out. Obviously now we see in replay and stuff like that most of those calls are a lot of them are right.
And we don't know, and we talk about these Hall of Fame umpires. Who knows how great they really were back? They might have been as bad as Angel Hernandez back in the 50s and 60s and 70s.
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah. We really don't have a way of judging that. So, like, Allan, you playing, baseball, recreationally. Like, how is the strike zone in that? How is how do you?
It's terrible. These umpires can't see past the catcher in front of them. So, but they're taking time out of their day to come out and help us out, even though they do make a decent amount of money off it.
They do.
And so I can't really yell at them too much. I can yell at them a little, but
yes.
Have you been ejected for arguing a ball and strike?
Not in a long time. Not since my minor days.
Okay. All right.
Well, and also, I'm sure that they also encourage you when the game gets, maybe 2 hours in, to encourage you to swing at the, the balls on the outside, right? Like, let's get.
Yeah, we don't usually get to time limit type stuff. Like games usually flow. We only play 7-inning games, just to speed things up in itself. So, but yeah. The strike zone, when the score gets a little out of hand, does get a little bit wider.
It's wider,
gets a little bit wider, a little bit higher, a little bit lower. So, I mean, it's just baseball.
Are you one of those Are you one of those situations where on your field and you have another game right after you or another game right before you? Is one of those kind of situations too?
Generally not, just because we are old and we don't get premium field times. So we're usually like the last game of the night.
Because adult softball can be really tight when it's competitive.
Oh yeah. So the second one is dead baseballs with increased drag. Now this is number 2 from ChatGPT.
I wish Jack was here because he would just think that means increased number of drag queens on the field. I'm sure that's what he thinks it means.
So the description is baseballs are flying 4 feet shorter, which is that doesn't make sense. Exactly. MLB says no change, but players blame higher seams, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was like in the late 80s, they had really high seams. And I think that they could really dig their the pitchers could dig their fingernails into these high seams. But again, I haven't noticed this. I think everything has been pretty par for the course. What's your opinion?
With all the analytics, they're so worried about spin rate and velo and everything else that they're able to calculate these things. But you're right. I'm not seeing any less home runs. I'm not seeing any less pitchers throwing 102. So like,
right.
I mean, there's going to be some guys that complain about it. The guys that are constantly throwing stuff that spins and everything else. But that'll notice that, but for the most part, I really don't notice any difference in the gameplay itself.
Yeah, Kevin, how I know that you in your recent dream, did you see how is that comparable?
Well, I had this vision that I was seeing games in another country where it's definitely more low scoring, more high pitchers efficiency. So those dead baseballs is just going to be. You don't have as much of a physical presence on these players from, is it the Far East? You know what I mean? Am I allowed to say? I mean, back in Japan, this Japanese dream I had about these guys who are not as powerful of hitters as players who come to America. I don't know. I mean, this year you see Allan Jepsen got to be very happy about a certain player on the Mariners destroying the ball left and right. Who now has a beer coming out with him, which, we got to talk about that later.
Yeah. I mean, I wish the rest of the team would do something, but I'm still happy with that one player.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? It's better than having none. Let me tell you that. Yes. I'm sure my old team is struggling.
Yes. That big dumper is setting some records.
He's on a hell of a pace.
He sure is.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Rendon because that big dumper is setting a lot of records too.
That dumpster fire. Well, that would mean that would.
Those
that
are
would-
all dead baseballs come from Rendon. Let me tell you.
Yes, in a different way for sure.
Yes.
So the third one is the ongoing rollout of the ABS system. And so technology being tested in spring 2025, full adoption expected in 2026. The debate remains between precision and tradition. So it kind of goes back to what I was saying before. I'm actually okay with like umpires because I love also that the managers, it can change a game. That's like, I don't like that the umpires change the game when they throw out people for arguing these really bad strikes and stuff. Because people didn't come to see the umpires. But I also like that kind of that jaw jacking, and I feel like that's part of baseball that we might lose.
Very much so. We're definitely going to, because there's already less, manager ejections and confrontations, just because of instant replay.
Yeah.
So it's only going to become less and less, and then what's the point of the manager even being there?
We need these fiery managers. We need the return of fiery managers. But I want robot umpires. I want Rosie the robot from the Jepsens to be my home plate umpire so she can go up, get her little duster out, and dust off home plate between every at bat. All right? Let me have that, please.
Jepsen. Meet the Jepsens.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. You have a robot? Allan Jepsen, do you have a robot named Rosie?
I'm not allowed to let you know Canadian secrets.
Oh. Yeah.
But aren't you part of America now?
Nope.
No, it's a perfect time not to be a part of America.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey-oh. So the fourth one that ChatGPT gave us was the infield shift ban and unintended consequences. So the new rule restricts shifts in place. Started in January 25th, 2025. It says started in January for this baseball season, but its effect on defensive strategy and run scoring is still debated. So I don't even see this anymore. I know that there's still shifts, but you can't cross over certain lines. You can't like put certain infielders on one side of the field.
Yeah. So it's 2 and 2. It has to be 2 and 2.
Yeah.
And the middle infielder can't cross the plane of the point at second base.
Right.
So they like before the pitch, if they're over it, an umpire can call like an infield something, an obstruction or something like that. I personally, I hated the shift. I thought it was dumb, but I also thought it was dumb that players couldn't figure out how to bunt and get base hits.
Yeah.
At the major league level.
Correct. Like you should be able to put bat on ball and get a free single every single time.
Absolutely. It's not exciting baseball, but it is smart baseball, which I like. For instance, okay, I'm gonna at the risk of making some enemies here. I hate it when people boo when the pitcher steps off and throws to first base to keep the runner, close to first. People will boo. Right. And it's just strictly out of inconvenience. When if that's the go ahead run, you want to keep that run or that runner closer to the base so he doesn't potentially score on a double, right? So yep. I think that this again is a baseball thing, and also bunting is a part of baseball. People don't like
not in banana ball, sir.
Not in banana ball, of course. It's the opposite of baseball.
Bunting sucks on the banana ball.
Small ball's making a comeback.
Yeah. Oh, it is.
Baseball. Oh yeah.
It is. And
it's definitely Japan. Japan definitely is almost all small ball.
So funny enough, when I remember a couple shows ago when we were doing kind of like the talk on Gung Ho, and Michael Keaton's he had his softball and George Wendt. It was the George Wendt tribute.
Yeah. Yes.
And basically the Japanese team, they came out in full uniforms, but one of the first hits that one of the players did was hit the ball into the ground and bounced it on the infield because it was really hard.
Chopper.
Chopper. It's called a Baltimore chop.
Baltimore chop.
Yeah.
And it was actually, I go, oh my God, like that was actually a very accurate portrayal of how they would play, and all the infielders were in, so they bounced it over.
Now, let me ask, because I'm not aware of that term. What's the reference for the Baltimore chop?
So if I'm not mistaken, and we'll look this up, I believe that in Baltimore specifically, they used to the groundskeepers actually hardened the front of the plate. Like they would actually overwater it and then pack it down.
So they cheated.
But this happens in every ballpark. Some of the groundskeepers will actually they'll cut the grass a certain way to for infielders and stuff like that. And also the outfielders too. This zigzag that you're seeing here, outfielders don't like this because it makes the ball actually go different directions. So, Allan, are you looking it up?
I did, and it said I could ask why do they call it the Baltimore chop, and the Baltimore Orioles paid off their groundskeepers to hide cement slabs in front of home plate.
Oh, so it's even worse.
Yeah, resulting in high bouncers that came to be known as Baltimore chops.
Okay, that's Earl Weaver. I guarantee you that's Earl Weaver doing.
Yeah,
right
it says Dead Ball era.
Sorry. Well, I don't think the Orioles exist. What era was the Dead Ball era? That was like the early 1900s, but that was like
it might have been another. There was another Baltimore team, wasn't it?
Because the St. Louis Browns became the Orioles later. So
they did, but I think there might have been another baseball team in Baltimore before that.
There was for sure. I mean, I would know. I used to see him play. I just can't remember their name right now.
There you go. Yeah,
there's definitely more to it. I feel like there's a couple versions of what it is, but cement slabs under there, that sounds pretty awesome.
That I hadn't heard.
At least says in the late 19th century. So of course I was there. The late 1800s, of course. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a good strategy. Amazing. They were called the Orioles back then, and very successful. Because all I heard a ball like that be called a chopper. You know what I mean? Yeah. That must be what the reference is.
Baltimore chop.
Is that unintended consequence?
That's it. That's it. That could be one of the unintended consequences.
I was worried about something crossing the streams amongst these players. They cross the streams. There's definitely some of those unintended consequences with that.
Definitely. So number 5 was the rise of velocity and modern bullpen usage, increased fastball speeds, 94.3 and above, as usually the average, lead to more relievers, rapid injury risk, and impacting player health. This I have seen twofold in baseball. There's one of the, I'm trying to think, like Jordan Hicks was a guy who threw 100. Trevor Rosenthal. I say this for the Cardinals because I watch them pretty much on an everyday basis. Joel Zumaya, I think, is another guy. He played for the Tigers. He was throwing 100. He actually I knew it because he had a flame on his arm, but then he literally flamed out. He threw out his arm. There's a lot of players like that now that they're throwing so hard for so long, and they don't last very long in the major leagues. That's why I'm always kind of amazed. Like Aroldis Chapman is still around, throwing as hard as he does. Yeah.
My thing is, that was like the main thing I thought that was extending games, was just how many pitching changes that was going on until they made the new rule of every batter has to face at least 3. Every pitcher has to face at least 3 batters, and I'm like, that might not be good for some of these relievers who are just going to blow their arms out. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that.
Yeah, Tony La Russa used to have guys come in and literally one pitch. Yeah. Like they would come in one pitch and get the guy out and he'd pull him. It was like literally batter by batter matchups.
And that might be the rise of why Allan saw a couple of position players pitching, recently on his recent trip to Texas,
Yeah, John Smoltz recently spoke out about it. He is not happy with the way that is going, using position players to save your bullpen or save your starters or whatever, if you're getting beat real bad or you're beating the team real bad. Like I think Kike Hernandez came in when they were up by 15.
Right.
And
yesterday, are you talking because that was yesterday's game?
It was a couple months ago.
This is a little while back.
He pitched yesterday for the Dodgers too, and in a third inning he gave up 3-4 runs. You know what I mean? So
he pitched 2 1/3, I think it was.
oh my gosh.
And it's like that's eating up innings of someone that is classified as a pitcher.
Right.
So it's like guys need to be classified as pitchers or hitters or defensive players. So it's like they need to figure that out. So guys taking advantage of the rules, goddamn cheating Dodgers.
So this is off subject, but
He's cheating. We just talked about the Baltimore chop. Come on. Let's go check Camden Yards. Let's check every ball field to see if there's cement slabs under home plate, all right?
Every team has their advantages that they have. So that's it's not just the Astros with the trash cans.
Yeah.
So backing up, I wanted to bring this up, and I'm glad I have this forum to do so. So recently, Jepsen Profar was suspended for PEDs. Okay. So what is Jepsen Profar doing now? He's actually in the minors rehabbing to get back to the club before his suspension is over. So is that like a wink? Like
he's playing games. He's not just
he's rehabbing right now.
He's playing Gwinnett. He's in Gwinnett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that? Should he be suspended from baseball?
Yes.
Or just Major League Baseball?
Yeah. It should be any sort of professional game within at least major and minor league baseball. Now,
Cowboy Jack will defend PEDs to the end, but I'm like, no. If you're suspended from baseball, no, come on. Yeah. How can you be able to get away from
it? Should be any sort of affiliation with professional baseball, in my opinion. So that includes like the Dominican Winter Leagues, the Mexican Winter Leagues, the Venezuelan leagues.
Yeah.
Even over in Japan, if someone goes, it should be all baseball activities.
How about Sandlot? If you're going to be true to this, no PEDs, you can't play baseball at all. Like, I know they can't enforce that, obviously, but I'm saying you should not be able to play. But
was it El Paso? Is that the AAA team for the Padres? Is it El Paso?
No, he plays for the Braves now.
Oh, Braves. I'm sorry. That's right.
Yeah, he's in Gwinnett.
Yeah.
You said Gwinnett. I just processed it.
I still think of him as a Padre as well.
I mean, you gotta realize I've been in a coma for a while, so I don't know. I know what's up and down. Hey, I'm home. I at least found my home.
You did. But I just thought that was pretty hypocritical, and that's where baseball kind of loses a little bit of credibility. I'm like, come on, guys.
That's wild stuff.
That is wild, wacky stuff.
Thank you for enlightening me, because nothing's happened in a couple of weeks while I was in a coma, so it's nice to know. It's nice to get the update from you guys.
So number 6 is pitching injuries and rotation depth. Starters are getting hurt. Teams are leaning on depth for their bullpens amid uncertainty. So you'd have to watch a lot of baseball. I watch most every team during the day. I work at home, so I have it on all the time. So I'm sure you guys don't watch as many games as I do, but playing fantasy baseball also shows you that you have to keep players. There's also, like, for instance, you'll know when your relievers are playing too much. Like because I have a manual Class A, and you always wonder like how much he's been used up to this point. Is it how long is that going to go? Also, middle relievers, a guy like who plays for the Guardians, his name is Cade Smith. Like those guys get a lot of innings. And so, what is your thought on this?
I mean, you there was only a couple people so far this year that have thrown 9-inning games, and it's and it's so hugely celebrated now that because it's so rare, it's almost getting to that point where it's almost as rare as a no-hitter. If a guy's going to go that far, he's likely throwing a no-hitter. Yeah. So, I don't know whether the 5-man rotation is the problem, whether they should have more in the starting rotation, but guys aren't going past 5 or 6 generally.
Well, what's interesting is, I don't know if you guys remember this, but when Blake Snell pitched that no-hitter last year, that was his first complete game ever in his career. Yeah. The guy, a Cy Young Award winner, never pitched a complete game to a no-hitter last year.
In both leagues.
Yeah, it's insane. Insane. Yeah. That's insane stat to think about. And just if I remember right back when we were younger, Michael, I thought it was more like a 6-man rotation, right? Didn't he used to be more starting pitchers?
Yes, and well, I mean, it was a different structure as well. There wasn't middle relievers, and
Right.
and your relievers actually went 3 innings.
Mm-hmm. And then the closer thing didn't really become a thing until like the mid to late 70s. We started seeing the firemen.
The firemen.
How do you spell relief, Michael Mondragon?
ROLAIDS.
Thank you. And it's funny because hearing about what the Dodgers are trying to do this year. Oh, we have a 6-man rotation. It seems so exotic. Like I thought that was like the norm back earlier in the history of baseball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But those guys they're still protecting their arms because they're figuring, we gotta save our arms for the postseason. And now you got the new thing now in the last couple of years, you have the opener thing too. So it's really interesting to see how you got to work on to keep these arms fresh for later in the season because way too many Tommy John surgeries, unfortunately.
Yeah,
it's common now. It's not like guys don't think it's a big deal.
Insane.
It's actually. Go ahead.
It's just a Tommy John surgery was only 50 years ago. It was literally in the mid 70s. 50 years ago in the blip of history is like nothing. I mean, for me, it was last week. But, even in baseball history, that's a third of its history if you go back 150 years. And now it's just like a common procedure, but literally you're missing a year of your career, which is insane.
I actually think I think it strengthens their season after or their career afterwards. There could be a debate made for that too.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, I mean, hopefully they're nowadays because you had literally like a Mark Pryor who could have been like an all-time legendary pitcher, and he destroyed his arm in a handful of years.
Yep.
Kerry Wood stretched, and then he destroyed his arm, and it's just there's so many guys who have so much more potential than what they had, unfortunately.
Like Adam Wainwright, missed the 2006 season, the season that they won the championship, and he pitched he just retired a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
He was on the He was on the World Classics, the World Baseball Classic team when we went. He was pitching for USA, America.
Oh my God, you're right. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, he was out of the VOC. He wasn't quite captain, but
no.
He was right up there, though. He was the vet, to say the least.
All right. So number 7, we actually transition into business and infrastructure. Now, I don't know what these what this is right here, because ChatGPT puts all these little icons in here. I have no idea what this is. It looks like just 2 bricks on top of each other. I think
it's a logo for Jack's next team, is what it is.
It might be, yeah.
We'll hear about the Brixton bricks out of Brixton.
I have no idea what this is. So this is payroll and luxury tax imbalance. Teams like the Dodgers and Mets spend vastly more, creating competitive imbalance. So the thing I would counter with is the teams on the bottom save all their money and do not put the money back into the team. So that's just my 2 cents.
You need more than 2 cents. You want to equal everything out, Michael Mondragon.
That's true. You
might need $2 billion.
Yeah, right. Allan, what are the Mariners? Where do they line up as far as spending goes?
Spending just enough to make 54% of the wins. They do have a few big contracts, but even those couple big ones don't equal even a drop in the bucket to a Dodgers or Yankees or Mets. Now, do they have the financial backing to spend more money? They do.
Okay,
they have a very wealthy owner, and he needs to start pulling out his checkbook if this team ever has a chance.
What? So your team is the Mariners, obviously. So what do the Mariners need? Because whenever I see, even Soto, if you would have had Juan Soto, he hasn't been hitting as up to his contract. Pitchers the same thing. They want 10 years out of him. They don't pitch 10 years.
No, we got a lot of young relievers that we are young starters that are absolute studs, and they're just going to waste their potential. We need some infielders. We need some help at first base. We have a young guy at third that's great defensively. He hasn't found his stride batting-wise yet. Our outfield's pretty good, but we have guys like Randy Rosarena who aren't really living up to their potential either. J-Rod not living up to his potential at the moment. So guys that when they're hot, they're tops in the league. But there's only one guy that's hot in that lineup right now, and I'm surprised people are still pitching to him.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, no kidding.
So
that's what I said about Aaron Judge. I'm just like, people are still pitching to this guy. Like, he
People pitched at Ohtani, they pitched to Judge, they picked the Cal, and like,
yeah.
All right, guys. I mean,
I'm like, just roll the ball up to the plate.
pretty much, right? Yeah.
It's like Barry Bonds attracted a ton of walks at the same time that he was blasting it like every other at bat out for a home run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was crazy. Well, Kevin, you get to enjoy the spoils of a team with a high payroll.
Well, you know, I came from the team where the one time he spent money was maybe the worst signing in MLB history.
Yeah.
We're thinking that dumpster fire Rendon, which that was, I think, the second time I said, I'm done with the Angels, because I knew that I'm like, this is not going to be good. Why are you wasting so much money on this Rendon guy? And little I know, it'd be way more of a dumpster fire than I thought. I'm surprised I don't see the smoke coming from Angel Stadium.
Well, I always remind you of what they did before that, which was they were starting like a new television network, I believe, and they wanted to make a big splash. This was in 2012. So they signed Pujols and CJ Wilson and Josh Hamilton.
Yeah. Oh, don't forget they had Teixeira for a little bit there.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
The Mo Vaughn signing.
Did they? I think they had like Zach Greinke for like 6 months.
They did briefly. Yeah, they did. They gave Houston Street $12 million. You know, I mean,
that's
they
right.
gave Matt Harvey $12 million.
Mo Vaughn. That was before.
Mo Vaughn got a lot of money. They gave Matt Harvey $12 million, and then next thing you know, 6 months later, a player. Yeah, let's not talk about that.
Yes.
I'm going to talk about the 2019 Angels, please.
Yes.
We gave Sean Figgins money.
Yeah.
Sean Figgins is a good player, man.
Everybody loves him. That you would get such heat if you were to say that.
There was a point in Seattle because his batting average was so low that bars were selling pints for the price of his batting average.
That's amazing.
Cheers to Sean Figgins because he was a good Angel. I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah,
wasn't a good Mariner.
No. I wish I could buy pints for the price of Rendon's average this year.
Oh gosh, yeah, everything would be free.
Yeah.
There was another Reggie Willett, or is that his name? Reggie, or I think so. That was another.
How about oh no, I forgot his name now. Darn it, the guy who was a Padre. Oh darn, I'm spacing on his name. Upton. That you have another $24 million on his last year. They're like, nah, you're
Justin Upton.
Justin Upton.
He played a little. He played okay for them, but he wasn't.
His last year, literally $24 million. Is like,
that's it.
You're done.
That's it.
I'm like, you're just throwing away $24.5 million. By the way, to prove why I despise the ownership, they take insurance out on Rendon's contract.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Because he doesn't believe in doing that.
Why would you? Why would you? All right. So TV and media rights shakeups. ESPN exit. So they will no longer have baseball. I don't think they even have baseball tonight or anything like that. So their exit prompts MLB to explore national deals with streaming partners like Amazon, Netflix, Roku. It cut out. It cut out. What'd you say?
Roku. I have my Roku TV. I can watch baseball on Roku.
You can.
You can watch games on it now. They occasionally put one on.
Yeah, I saw. But if I want to watch my local team, good luck. I think literally for Dodgers, you have to pay like $100 a year for their streaming. Wow.
Up here, we get every single Blue Jays game blacked out on MLB TV.
And you're nowhere near. But can you watch Seattle games?
I can watch Mariners games except when they're playing the Toronto Blue Jays.
No. Okay.
So the Blue Jays are across the country. Like it makes no sense. Like I should be able to see the Mariners just fine, just because I don't have Sportsnet or whatever is the Blue Jays one. I mean, most teams, there's a bunch of teams this year that introduced their own streaming service, so you could watch all of the team's individual games. Like I think Fubo got involved. That's another, and so you can watch. Like you pay for their streaming service as opposed to MLB TV.
Yeah, because Michael will tell Michael, you can go ahead and go on your tell us all about the MLB package, please.
Yeah, I mean, I've had the MLB package for like almost 20 years now, and like it's never gone above like $120. and I get the minor league as well. So it's great. And
I have a question. Is there blackouts on the minor league games? When I live here, can I watch my local minor league teams?
That's a very interesting question. I never put 2 and 2 together on that.
I highly doubt it. That'd be hilarious if it was.
I don't think that it applies, but I'm going to check that out. No, I can't because I'm in Arizona. But yes,
give me your MILB. I'll look up Inland Empire.
That's amazing.
Cucamonga and Lake Elsinore, because that'd be insane. Because that doesn't air anywhere.
Right.
I'm just being a smart aleck.
I don't think that it does. But so like when I was living in LA, I could never get the Dodger games, but the Dodger games were on the cable system. Thank goodness.
It's
on Spectrum. Yeah. And I could get the Angels games too. So like Kevin couldn't watch the Angels games, but I could. And it was only because I lived in a certain area that had that cable system. The thing that I didn't like.
Spectrum even worse. You can, I mean, if you know Spectrum cable, you could not watch the Dodgers.
Well, that's it. And so what I was saying was that they're literally losing a generation of young people that could grow up on it. Just on baseball in general. And what they do is they find other things, just like my son who grew up during that era. Like he didn't watch baseball, but through video games and other things, like that's the only way that he would play baseball is on video games. And like he didn't know any of the players, and he only liked baseball because I like baseball. But like basketball and football and even UFC for that matter was more popular.
Yeah.
What are you going to say, Kevin?
No, it's off subject. Allan just sent me something that blew my mind. I think something to talk about next week. But I do like at least Spectrum was able to figure it out and offer like a package for $100 for like the season if you want to see all the Dodger games. Which I'm still just like, no, F you, but at least there's an option. Because there's no other way you can watch all the games.
If you think about it, it's actually more affordable than going to the Dodger games.
Oh, my God. I mean, I got so spoiled. I was trying to tell people, like, you realize I got to see Ohtani pitch as an Angel for, like, $12.
Yeah.
Like, go to that game a week ago to see if it's winning. Apparently, seats were, like, going for thousands.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah, we got very lucky and saw him, like, in his, like, when,
peak. If he's pitching peak, I don't know if he's ever going to reach that peak again.
Yeah, we got to see him pitch, and then hit his first home run at home, and so it was a big time. Again, this is kind of regional sports network decline. Major RSN, which I'm not sure what that is. I'll have to look that up. Bankruptcy has forced MLB to launch more direct-to-consumer streams. So that's what we were just talking about. And I remember there used to be, was it like Fox Sports Midwest and Fox Sports West?
Everything now is Bally. It's Bally
right.
Sports. Even that seems to be like going down the toilet.
Yeah.
Bally Sports West, where they used to have the Angel games. I'm not sure about Dodgers. Well, Dodgers were Spectrum. But there's Bally Sports. There was Bally Sports all over the country. I don't know how much they're still thriving because I don't have any form of streaming TV these days.
Right. Yeah,
so I just use my telegraphs and pigeons to figure out scores. You know what I mean?
Your mimeograph.
Yes, exactly.
So this one is kind of an interesting one. This is the service time manipulation. Teams delaying prospect promotions and also CBA tweaks have improved, but the perceptions persist. So this is kind of still true. Yet, guys, what was it? Jack Caglione. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. Caglione. And then, there's a player for the Reds, I think, that just came up today. Some fireball pitcher that just came up. But I still am seeing people come up, like Paul Skeens last year, come up. But I mean, this goes back quite a while that they try to get that service time and try to delay those start days. But I see like more teams actually putting rookies in and giving it to them.
Yeah, you're starting to see a little bit more, and like with a guy like Skeens, I'm surprised they didn't mess around with him a little bit more because of how notoriously cheap that owner is. I mean, who knows? He might be traded in the next 2 years. Would be the dumbest move in potential of the history. But,
well, they know they're not going to be able to sign him probably no matter. The owner's not going to give him the money to keep him no matter what, most likely. So I won't be surprised they just try to get whatever they can for him. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't afford, the best pitcher potentially in the next, how many years, maybe you shouldn't be an owner.
Yeah,
there's always someone.
Yeah. No, speaking of which, this goes out to the next front office dysfunction and franchise culture. This high-profile turmoil in Boston. Rafael Devers raises question of leadership stability. So this is exactly to your point.
Yeah, and it's like you can't coddle star players. Like you have to treat them like humans, and that's what it sounded like. A lot of the issues were with the Red Sox and Devers is communication.
Yeah,
and new guy came in, took over things, didn't want that contract, but it's a previous owner's choice. You have to kind of respect that player still. You can't turn them away like they did, which was unfortunate, but now, they're down a superstar player and the Giants have gained from it. Whether you feel he's worth $315 million still.
Not by the way he started this year.
I mean, Buster came out and said we were going to try and spend that money on Tucker. So, I mean, that's the same bat, same sort of thing. So,
do something. You
give
got
up nothing for it.
You got to compete, and the Giants do fine. It's not like they're losing any money at the end. They do well. They do really well.
Yes, they do.
Yes, a lot of garlic fries sales out there.
Man, you gotta get that crab sandwich. If you ever go to Oracle Park, get that crab sandwich.
All that stuff.
35. It's like $35. So
yes.
This just in, Cal Raleigh homered again.
Wow.
How many is that? 700 on the season?
I think he's at 32.
Like every day he gets one. Every day he gets one.
Is he on pace to break like Barry Bonds' record?
Yes.
They said yes, he is. They said he was on pace to get in the 70s at this point.
Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah.
Wow. Good for him.
And I don't think I need to touch number 11 because I already went through the entire Angels history of the last 5 years.
He always,
but
it's well documented.
I could say there's definitely some controversy within the Dodger fan culture the past week of everything going on in LA. And I don't think I'm going to go any deeper than that because I've been a Gummer for 2 weeks. I don't know why I even know that.
That's true.
Apparently, a lot's been going on in LA. I dreamt that something's happening over here. Ohtani's pitching though, right? I dreamt that Ohtani pitched, right?
He did.
Oh, that was real. Okay.
That was real. I think you were listening to a Dodger podcast as you fell asleep.
No, those IVs work well. Those blue IVs in my veins. In that vein right there, Jack.
Wow.
Don't mix the blue IV with the blue chew. Okay.
No, sir.
So the next one is relocation and temporary stadium usage. So the A's are temporarily in Sacramento, the Rays at the Yankee spring training site, and fans and finances impacted. So yeah, this has been a mess. Unfortunately, the Rays, was a natural disaster, but
they're not helping themselves.
A's is all kinds of disasters. There's natural disasters, human disasters, any kind of disaster. You have the Athletics, sir.
For real.
I mean, the Rays aren't doing themselves any favors. It sounds like they put the team up for sale this past week. I think they've blown the stadium deals in 2 counties now. So like
there's still Montreal, isn't there?
Montreal would need a brand new stadium as well. So
Puerto Rico,
but there are expansion teams that could take the place for sure. But
come on, Nashville! Yeah. Come on, Nashville or
Nashville,
Portland,
Charlotte,
Portland, right?
Utah.
Portland's been looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, Utah's planning on building a major league stadium as well, just with the hopes of getting a team. So,
and here's a long shot: Durham, North Carolina. I always hear like that they've always been in the conversation as well. So,
they've always had such a popular minor league team just because of Bull Durham and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know, like. I think it would take the luster away if they.
I think so too, for sure.
So I hope that one never happens. Unfortunately,
yeah.
Well, I mean, Michael went to Sacto last season. He said it was a really fun experience too.
I loved it. I thought it was great. But as far as a Major League Baseball experience, all the players hate it, and it's like that one guy had to run to the outfield to go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
like they didn't have like facilities there in the dugouts. Yeah, it was, again, it's a minor league facility, so
wow,
exactly.
I gotta go to the toilet in the outfield. I make millions of dollars.
That's the lesser known Angels in the Outfield movie. Toilet.
There you go.
I'm gonna add a drum. What do you call it? Rim shot on that one in post. So uniform ads and fan response. So this was an interesting one. Expansion of jersey patches, uniform changes, still unpopular. Okay, so I know that the sleeve logos, a lot of people don't like them. I as a logo guy, I never see any problem with them. And I always, at this point, I almost expect them, because when I watch international baseball, they have them on the helmets. They have them, actually in Mexico, like they have them in the thighs.
Yeah.
They look like NASCAR racers.
Right, exactly, totally. And it's like I almost expect it, but I don't know what this baseball purity is. I remember that this Major League Baseball wanted to do. I'm sorry, actually, it was Spider-Man. They wanted to actually put Spider-Man on the bases, and it was turned down by Major League Baseball or some. I don't know if it was Major League Baseball turned it down or whatever. It could have been a good cross promotion.
Well,
but
my weird one is, do you remember when D. Gordon Strange drew like the In-N-Out logo on his sneakers and he got in trouble for it?
So yeah, I mean, these are the things that are again, we have gambling in baseball now. Like we're throwing. There's a lot of baseball things that used to be forbidden, and now they're like commonplace. So
there is one uniform ad that I'm just like as offensive to me. It's not even in baseball. It's in basketball. The Oklahoma City Thunder had a freaking Love's Truck Stop logo on their jersey. I'm like, are you freaking serious?
All right.
Come on.
But
at least be Buc-ee's.
Well, that's what I'm saying, Kevin. Love's walk so Buc-ee's can run. So
yes,
Buc-ee's is going to be on something one day. We'll see it happen.
Absolutely, it will. It's going to be on. It's going to be on Allan's team eventually.
I hope so.
Hell yeah.
Exactly.
I hope they do it in conjunction with the. There's a new Buc-ee's here in Buckeye.
Is it open yet?
It is not open.
It's supposed to be in Goodyear.
A Goodyear, yes. It's close to Buckeye, which I wish it was.
Same. Same.
Yes.
No, it's not.
All right. So now to player and team dynamics. Early season underperformance. Teams like the Phillies, Braves, and Rockies have struggled, exposing their roster and pitching issues. Now, there's always going to be teams that don't do well, but the Rockies are on pace to break the White Sox streak.
AI mentioned the Rockies specifically.
They did.
Tough missing the bullseye like that graphic there. I mean, I
know. Yes. But the
White Sox wish they were that good back last year. You know what I mean? Jeez. Hopefully the Rockies play the Angels the end of the season to catch up like what happened to the White Sox last year.
Well, I actually saw the Rockies this year play in Arizona, and they won. They actually won like 14-12.
Baseball game?
They did. Okay. They scored 2 touchdowns against the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, some teams just don't get hot until May or June, and early injuries, guys coming off injuries. So it's like, and also might be them teams protecting guys too, and not rolling them out as quickly. So not having all your star players to opening day, where you should have all your star players start the season.
Yeah.
I mean, some areas, some regions, it's cold as hell in April.
That's right.
So I mean, you don't really want a Paul Skeens rolling out there in April in Pittsburgh. That's where he's going to get hurt. Yeah. I mean, he did because he's a gamer.
Yeah.
But you see a lot of guys not going that hard in April and May.
Oh yeah, when there's snow coming down on the field, the game's getting snowed out in those April games. Yeah, it's not good for the long term. And the 15th was. Actually, the one I think I skipped here, but it was service time and rookie delays. They re-emphasized it again, ChatGPT. But this one is service time and rookie delays. I'm sorry, controversies over player behavior. So recently, and I don't know, Kevin, you wouldn't know this because you've been in a baseball coma for a while.
Yes.
Allan,
I dreamt about a fight in LA. I when I had the blue vein going through me, my arm started shaking. I think there was a team, a fight to a blue team and a brown team. LA, San Diego. Was I dreaming that?
Yes, I think you might have. But this one I'm talking about is actually the Pirates. Dennis Santana was suspended for an altercation with a fan.
Yeah, he took a swing at him. He took a swing at him out of a bullpen. Yeah.
Yeah.
While a cop was in between them.
Yes. Yeah, it was like a hockey fight. It was like they jumped over.
I thought you were talking about. I had a dream that Pages was in a fight with somebody. For some reason. Yeah. Pirates have not happened in LA.
Bring back more bench clearing brawls, please.
Exactly. Right. Brushback pitches and Kevin, you wouldn't know this, but Tatis got hit like 3 times in that series as well. That's funny. Yeah.
That explains some things. He was the Allan Jepsen of the Padres. He
was. Okay. He was being targeted, though, I believe, and that's what that little target.
Allan's also being targeted. I mean, look at him.
Yes.
3 hit-free games, so we're good.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So the early season underperformance is 16 here. I think that might have been duplicated as well.
Yeah.
Uniform quality backlash.
I thought that was last year.
That was last year.
Yeah.
They've kind of corrected a lot of the things this year, fixed the names, fixed the logo, put it back up where it should be. It's no longer like the white isn't see-through anymore, which is a win for everyone. But overall, they've done a much better job of correcting all the mistakes they made last year, and there was a lot of them.
Oh yeah, and especially with the names as well. Yeah, the names in the back as well.
Yeah.
And so 19 would be the comparative ball design controversies. I had not even heard of this. Are anybody familiar with this?
No.
So it says similar to Mexican League's controversial baseballs, which I didn't know that was a thing. MLB debates center on purposeful ball manipulation to favor pitchers. I don't know what that's all about either. We might have to go a little bit deeper on that one.
We might need Cowboy Jack to tell us about how the people in Tijuana are handling baseballs. Maybe he can give some insight on that.
Going back to the seams, though, I don't understand how that would favor the pitchers more if there's less drag. I mean, I guess it carries less out, but like the same thing would be with the spin rate. It would spin less if there's more drag on the ball.
Yeah, yeah, and also I think it's also like that's why pitchers actually want to have that grip. That's why they love the sticky tack, because if they can control the ball better and it actually won't hit players more. But they take that away.
That's why I thought it'd be an advantage to TJ. They're getting some good grip from people. I'm sorry. Around there.
Actually, I saw a funny video with Trevor Bauer, and he was just holding the ball and it was sticking to his hand, and he said it's just sweat and rosin.
Yeah,
he goes, it was a very interesting video.
Really wish I wish in my dream I could have saw him pitch in Japan. That would have been quite something. I know he's pitching in Japan, but it didn't work out. Maybe next time. Maybe my next dream that'll happen.
So lastly, the competitive balance concerns, wealth inequality, media footprint, franchise stability threaten MLB's long-term health. I would say this is 100% true. Although this year, I feel that MLB is having a bit of a breakthrough, especially with their international stars.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's that can be debated almost. It's actually there's been a rise.
I mean, you just look at the World Baseball Classic. I mean, come on. These teams are coming up. And I mean, sure, there's kayfabe about, I was born at, we love Lars Nootbaar, friend of the show. I'll just say it out there.
Yes.
He made the Japan team. I'm like, you know what? We can say kayfabe and all that, but still, great ball players on that team for a reason. When you find my grandmother lived in the UK, I could be on the UK team.
That happens.
It happened.
Yeah.
And that was Tristan Thompson that we saw. That we saw. He was a good player too.
Yeah, it happens in the Olympics. So so it's gonna happen here.
But my point was in the World Baseball Classic now, it's not just America. They're the rest of the world is definitely catching up on baseball, and there's some countries definitely better than America. And sorry. Allan, you can join us.
No, we're mid pack. We're good. We play puck.
Yeah. You had Freddie Freeman though. You had Freddie Freeman on your national team.
If all the players that could play for Canada played for Canada, we'd have a very good team.
Okay.
But throughout the World Baseball Classics, we've lost out on the Joey Vottos and the Mornos and things like that of the past. And now, we do have a bunch of young guys that are very good, but they can't compete, unfortunately.
Well, maybe next World Baseball Classic, hopefully, they can step up and let's get some more players on that team. Come on.
Yeah.
There'll be games in Puerto Rico. Let's go.
Well, I was going to say for that is we were talking about how this team's changing. So I know that they want to stay in Florida where there's no state tax. Moving to Canada, they would have the Canadian tax.
Yeah.
So there actually is money to be lost during all this.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of, NBA players didn't want to play in Canada because of the tax.
Oh, yeah. Especially with the Grizzlies back in the day. Yeah.
Yes. Nobody wanted to play for them.
Poor big country. He wanted to play, but nope. Him and Sharif, we're going to get taxed to death.
Yep. Yes. Well, look, you guys are still here, but hey, we're on all the socials. I don't know what happened.
What happened?
There we go. We're back. This is where you can see us on all the socials. We're on X, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. Guys, thanks to ChatGPT. This has been a very, very in-depth show. We get to flex our muscle a little bit. We know about modern baseball. We don't talk about it enough, but yes, thank you for ChatGPT for inspiring the conversation tonight.
Maybe break a sweat.
Yes. Well, Kevin.
Yes, sir. I'm
glad that you are out of your coma and back. We're going to have some fun shows coming up. But where are you going to be this week?
I might be back in a comatose state.
Okay.
Because I think the next we record, I turn 50 next Monday when we record.
Wow.
I got nothing going on this week. That's what I say. You know what? I'm in a cover 2.5 weeks, but I'm going to lay low and then see what happens when we record next Monday.
Nice. Allan, do you have any games coming up?
Got a game Friday night. My average took a bit of a hit. I'm just at 300 right now, but
wow,
unacceptable.
I know, right? I was at 340 for a little bit there. I was on a good run. I just had I had a good game, but a bad game. I reached 3 times on error, which doesn't really help my batting average.
Yes.
But other than that, my trivia squad, we are going out to spend our earnings this weekend. We're going to the pub, and we're going to go tie one on.
Nice. Fantastic. I will actually be going to LA. I'm actually going to be, I'm actually going to be there on Thursday. I'm going to an event out there, and yes, I'm going to see my son. But hey, Kevin, I might, if you're around, we might have to, hook up, as it were, and maybe have a craft beer. What do you think?
God. I might go back into a coma.
In fairness, in the dreams, when you were texting me, there was a lot of beer photos.
Of course there was. What else would I be doing in my comatose state? Japanese beer, baseball, Alaska baseball, Alaska beer. I don't know.
It was wild. I don't know. I either you were looking it up and then sending me these pictures, or I don't know.
I have my phone connected by IV, so that's probably why you're getting some weird things coming from it.
Well, awesome. I can't wait to hear more about it. Check us out next week. We have some big shows coming up. For Allan Jepsen, Kevin Lyon, and Michael Mondragon, we'll see you next week with another Baseball Brew Crew podcast. Good night, everyone.